Is there something that you should know about mediumship that can either make or break your connection to spirit? Yes. In this lesson, I'm sharing the first step to developing mediumship that most beginners skip and that most mentors don't teach. This is lesson 3 of a 5-part training. When this video ends, YouTube will automatically take you to lesson 4. Every mediumship mentor will teach you about the clair senses. Awesome. But what about those must-knows that determine whether you can maintain a strong connection with spirit or not? I'm actually going to share 2 things in this lesson that you can do to start developing your mediumship today: quieting the mind and releasing expectations. Yeah, I get that most mediumship teachers will tell you that quieting the mind is important, but it's not enough. You've got to pair that practice with the practice of releasing expectations. When it comes to quieting the mind, meditation is a great tool for this, and it's so important for mediums to do it regularly. You really do want a blank mind so that when spirit sends you one of those spiritual impressions, you can identify it and you can receive it. There is additionally a very important practice called sitting in the power. Both of these are crucial, and I'll talk more about sitting in the power in lesson 5. I used to hate meditation, if you can believe it. When I first started, I could only put a timer on for 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops. Over time, I came to love it, and now I crave my time in meditation. Now, you can meditate and sit in the power all you want, but if you're not able to release expectations and you succumb to the pressure of mediumship, it's all over. Why is that? Mediumship does not respond well to pressure or anything that makes you feel fear, anxiety, or doubt. Those vibrations are lower vibrations that make it difficult, if not impossible, to raise your vibration in order to blend your consciousness with the consciousness of the spirit world. Right from the beginning, as you go about developing your mediumship, let go of your expectations of how your mediumship should work. There's no place for ego in mediumship. So know right away that no matter how proficient you become as a medium, some readings will be great and others will feel like a Joe. The second practice that I want to share with you that will be helpful right from the start is starting to learn how to notice what you're making up in your mind versus what is actually a spiritual impression coming from a spirit. What is your active mind making things up and drawing conclusions? And what is actually a real message coming from a spirit? The number one way to tell when something is a spiritual impression is that it just drops into your mind. It's a quick flash of information. It wasn't there a moment before, and all of a sudden it is. The second way to tell if something is a spiritual impression is that it doesn't feel of you. It wasn't the next logical thought in your mind. It's not you drawing conclusions. And a third tool that you can use to double check if this is your active mind or a spirit, if you really can't tell the difference, is something I teach my students that I call resonance or dissonance. Resonance is when you feel like something's true, like it aligns with truth, and you kind of feel that chord running through your body. Now, you could practice this by stating your name to yourself in your mind. I could say, in my mind, yeah, I'm Mel Farr. I feel resonance through my body. That's true. If I say something that creates dissonance, it's something that doesn't feel true to me. Like, I love eating cockroaches, especially when they're alive and wiggling around in my mouth. That creates strong dissonance for me. So when I get an impression, or what I think is an impression, if I'm not sure, I can go ahead and feel into resonance or dissonance. Is that a spiritual impression? I feel this feeling of resonance. If you feel like you've been asking yourself the question, am I making this up? Or is this real? That's normal. These are often the earliest stages of starting to attune to the language of spirit and being able to recognize spiritual impressions. It's easy to be unsure and make mistakes when you're first developing. In fact, in the next lesson, I will share the top mistake beginners make when they begin developing their mediumship. Subscribe now if you haven't yet and watch the next lesson, because just about every one of my students make this mistake before they realize how to understand what a spirit is actually telling them.